Hey guys, it's Penelope, and we are looking at the full moon in the sign of Cancer. If I want you to know that with this page, what we're looking at is horoscopes.astro-seek.com. And when you go here, you'll be able to bring up your own chart. So it's a useful site. You can check that out and play with the different charts on there. And you need your birth date, time, and place. However, let's look at this. We've got this full moon, and the moon is full when the sun is opposite the moon. When the moon is on top of the sun, it's a new moon. So this is a full moon in the sign of Cancer. And it's got, I noted, a mystic rectangle here, which is quite interesting. And you can see that this is to do with two oppositions. So we've got the node, and we've got Uranus involved there as well. The North Node and Uranus are still working together, breaking free of limitations. And the North Node is our path. The nodes go around the chart this way, and the planets all go around the chart this way. And the nodes, Nodes, take 18 years to go around the chart, and they work in alignment with eclipses. So breaking free of limitations, our path, you can still, they're still together in Taurus. This is to do with our inner needs and our earthly resources like food and inner needs as well. We have Jupiter moved into the sign of Aries a week or so ago, and we've got Chiron in Aries as well at 12 degrees. You can see that Chiron is in what's called an inconjunct to the South Node. So we're working out some wound with the ruler of is Mars of this Chiron in Aries. We're working out some wound from the past, Scorpio, the depths. So this is to do the depths of things. We've got the sun here. This is some sort of harmony that if we consider working out something here, I don't know enough about the mystic triangles. I do have one, not triangle, a rectangle. You have triangles as well, but this is a rectangle. And it's interesting that we have got something to work out. So it's a full moon. The nodes are involved and breaking free of limitations. So actually, I did hear something by John Campbell, uploaded something about an hour ago. I don't know if you know who he is. You can go to his channel. And he mentioned something that may change something. It's a bit, you're not giving you the whole story, but if you want to go and have a look, you can. Last video uploaded. So his last video, Dr. John Campbell. So what we have is we have Venus is in Aquarius at the moment. Actually, I'm going a bit over. There's Mercury is retrograde at the moment. That helps. Mercury retrograde up there. We've got a conjunction. We've got Mercury involved in the opposition to the moon. So the sun is conjunct Mercury, and it's in opposition to the moon. And then we have an opposition from the South Node to Uranus North Node, and then we've got this inconjunct going on here. So Mercury, the sun is in, and Mercury and Pluto are all in Capricorn. Venus is in Aquarius, and so is Saturn. Saturn will be moving into Pisces in March 2023. Neptune is at 22 Pisces. Jupiter, Chiron. What we have as well, Mars is retrograde here. You can see the little R, and that will be going direct on the 14th of January as well. I'm going to show you solar fire as well, and I'm going to show you what's happening in my chart. But if we look at this, you can see that the sun is 16 degrees and the moon is 16 degrees opposite. So Capricorn and 16 degrees of the sign of Cancer. We've got Mercury Venus, Mars, all here. You can see all of these. It's really good to look at them so you know where you're at. And then you can see all of the retrograde planets as well. Retrograde. So Mercury will go direct on the 18th of January. And then Uranus is also going to go direct. And we'll look on SolarFly at what date that's going to happen. And then we're going to have a period of time when all of the planets are going to be direct, which is probably a nice to watch that play out, how that plays out. So with the sign of the moon in Cancer, we have covers the ego, the womb, our childhood environment, children, home, roots, our ancestors, the clan, family, Mother Earth as well, protection, security, inner, nurturing, protection. It also can be when we neglect. It can be where we feel helpless. It's our needs. It's the housewife, house husband, gender roles. It's subjective because it's feeling, touchy, self-image, and it's our emotions. The moon is our emotions. Then the other thing, before I go over to show you my chart, is that we've got, I'm looking at Jan Spiller and Karen McCoy, Spiritual Astrology. I'll put the link below this video on YouTube. So if the moon is in Cancer, in an unconscious expression, it's where we have the impulsive tendency to trample on or ignore the feelings of others. So we want to watch out on this full moon that we don't do that. And where we may want to seek our own emotional needs first. If you think like a baby, like babies want what they want and they want it first. So the sign of Cancer, the emotions, indulging in a world of self-centered emotions. It may be difficult to see beyond your own needs to the solutions offered by others for emotional balance. Wanting others to pay attention to you can lead to feeling crushed if you are rebuffed. This can result in a negative feelings or self-image and unable to create positive and nourishing emotional situations in your life. So we want to watch out for that because in a conscious expression, the moon in Cancer and being a full moon as well, it's a culmination. When we take responsibility for creating emotional closeness that we need, it becomes apparent that past methods have not been working to satisfy your longing. The truth is, others cannot provide our fulfillment because we have a surplus of emotional fullness. Our lesson is to empty our own cup so that it can be refilled. So it's a good time to, empty things out so we can be refilled and discovering something new that's fresh, the other people who exist in your, so it's about others as well, other people. Temporary suspending your own emotional demands. So don't be demanding is the plan. And also empowers you to fill the cups of others by discerning their needs for self-confidence and by encouraging them to reveal in their feelings. So we can encourage people to reveal their feelings by asking questions. Like often we'll ask people questions that don't really extract any information. If I say, how are you? For instance, people will say, fine. We can dig deeper with questions and be sensitive as well, because often people will hold a lot inside themselves and don't want to share it because they feel too vulnerable. And that's also the sign of Cancer, the vulnerability. When you give your attention to others and fill their needs for personal closeness and empathy by entering into their world, you will find yourself experiencing the tender intimacy and security you have been seeking. So we need each other, yeah? This is true. We do. We've all got different skills and we've all got stuff to offer and we learn from each other as well. And we grow and we surpass ourselves when we, our own regular stuff that's going on. If I go to looking at now my chart, I'm going to show you that moon for me. So what you can do then is go to astro.com, pull up a chart yourself. You have to put in your details. I'm sure you'll figure that out. If you look at, it should walk you through it when you have a look on astro.com. and you'll get a chart like this. There are different types, but this is what you're looking for, your own natal chart. Again, time, date, place of birth. Time is really important so that you get the rising sign. I'm 27 degrees Scorpio rising. The moon, I'm a Gemini moon, but the moon for me is falling in the sign of Cancer. So it's falling in the 8th house. So what does, as an example, then I would say, we know what the moon means, the moon in Cancer means. So then I would look at what does the moon in the 8th house mean. So for me, falling in the 8th house, it's about me transforming something in my life on a deep level. It's about releasing something that is bogging down my life, so that I can restart life more positively. So this is a good full moon for me, starting at the beginning of the year in my 8th house, because it's helping me to restart something. And it's where we can hold on to where we've held on to things for an unhealthy period of time and not wanting to let something go, like using something like a safety blanket. So this is where I now get the opportunity at full moon to get to a point where it's a full moon, lost my words there, and where it's full moon and a culmination, that was the word, where I can allow myself to transform something, and something physical as well. It can be something physical, but it's dealing with intimacy and security, may come more into focus. And it's also could be to do with other people's money, or it could be to do, that's either lending or whatever we do. It's also where we may evaluate things that aren't only ours. It's to do with others as well, possibly, because it's merging. And it can be to do with more serious topics as well. So that's what that means for me. So when you know where the moon is in what house it's in, then you can figure that out. Then what you'd look for is, what is that moon doing? This is a bit of a lesson in understanding astrology. So what is that moon doing for me? Because then it is not just in the 8th house, it's doing other things. And then what is the sun doing? And it takes time to learn these things, but if you wanted to have a look at your chart with me, then you can book a session, and the link will be below the video. So the moon for me is in a quintile. That moon is in a quintile to my biquintile to my true Lilith, and true Lilith for me is all the way down here. So that's 144 degrees from recollection. The sun is semi-sextile my part of fortune. So you see the sun here is in a semi-sextile just here, which is a nice one for me. Then, as I talk you through this, the moon is sextile to Pluto. So my moon at this point is sextile to Pluto, which is nice. And it's also sextile to Uranus for me as well, because that's 16 degrees. So we've literally got 60 degrees. And these aspects are very important because it's different aspects to mean different things. The moon is square to my Venus. So the moon up here is square to my Venus down here. And then the moon is semi-sextile to my moon. So my moon is here. And you can see that so this is a nice full moon for me, actually. A bit of tension, but not much. Moon, and then the moon is octile to the sun. So that's 45 degrees. So I believe to my sun, yeah, it's a 45-degree angle. You can see that Mars there, where that's at 8 degrees at the moment. And that will be going direct, as we know, in the coming, because it's been in Gemini. The sun is trine to Pluto. So the sun down here is trining my Pluto, which is quite lovely. It's trining to my Uranus. It's also quintile to my Saturn, which is here. So the sun is quintile to my Saturn there, 72 degrees. And then it's square to my Venus. So my inner needs and something's going on with that. So the sun is square to my Venus and the moon is square to my Venus. So then I've got in conjunct to my moon. The sun is in conjunct to my natal moon. So there's a bit of struggle there, something to be seen. And then trioctile to my sun. So the reason I'm telling you this is because then you'll be able to, see what is this moon and what's going on here. It's deeper than we know, but it gives you an idea, the symbology. So now if I do this, I'm going to show you, I'm going to share solar fire, and we're going to look when Uranus is going to go direct. Okay, so spotlight. So see here, this is the 6th of January. This is so I forgot to tell you when it's happening. The full moon is happening on the 6th of January, 2023. Sounds so lovely. I prefer the sound 2022, 2023, freedom, somewhat, we hope. So what we have is that if you look at this, I'll make sure I'm sharing the right page. Let me see, new share. Yeah. And it's emanated this page. So what we got, if I go days here, so you can see that it's similar. It looks different, but it's the same chart. It's got 1621, 1621. Then we've got a lot more going on in here, but because I use there's a lot more planets on here, that's why. And then we can see that I wanted to look at Mercury and Mars. So watch Mars here, which Mars is in Gemini. And Mars in Gemini is where we like to initiate ideas and spread information. And it's where we are assertive, although we can resort to evasive behavior. So we may have seen some of that going on. It's been going on for months. And because Mars was at 25 degrees, I think, roughly. And then it went all the way back to 8 here. And if we go forward by days, we're going to concentrate on Mars for this moment. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Their station. So you saw that, and it goes direct. And here it's just about midnight in the UK. So it goes direct. So that's the 13th of January. It's going to go direct. And then Mars will be in Gemini, this whole communication thing, until around the end of March. And then it'll move into the sign of Cancer. If we go back to today, which is we're going to do the 6th, because this chart is 24 hours early, what I'm telling you now. So this is the 6th of January for the 6th. We have Mercury went retrograde. So if we go back by days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Mercury was touching on in there 27th of December with Pluto. And then it's gone, if we go forward, you can see, you'll see the R symbol and station symbol. 1, 2, 3. There you go, retrograde. And if we go to the 18th of January, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 station, and it's going direct, which is the 18th, 19th of January, depending where you are. So there it is up there when it goes direct. And then we've also got then the sun will be in the last degree of Capricorn. It'll move into Aquarius. We can see that Venus will be there. Venus on Saturn is a bit difficult. It can make us feel a bit restricted, inner needs. It can feel a bit heavy, but that will happen. Thankfully, Venus moves quite quickly. We've got the node, as you can see, on the 19th of January is beginning to move out of orb with Uranus. And Uranus is still retrograde there. So let's see when that goes direct. There you go. It stations. Let's go back one. So it's retrograde on the 20th. On the 21st, it stations, CVS. And then it's gone direct, and that's the 23rd of January that it goes direct. Not the exact hour, but it's going to go direct. And then we have here, we have no planets at that point that are retrograde. The node, which you can see here, is always going retrograde. That's the way it goes. So this is the chart for the 6th of January that I showed you when we were looking at the moon. We'll go back to that, 6th of January 2023. And that's it. So the Chiron is our wound, and we're looking to heal that. If we had Chiron in the first house at birth, then basically it's where we're wounded either emotionally or physically, and that every time we express our essential being, we experience rejection. I was born with Chiron, the wounded healer, in my 4th house, so I experienced rejection in the family home. So there are different types of rejection that we experience that we have to work with. And then when Chiron is in our chart, we're looking at what else is Chiron doing. Like, it's going to be doing other things. It's going to be an aspect to other things. But Chiron in Aries, for all of us, we'll all have it in different houses because of our time of birth and our rising sign. But so Aries will be in different houses for each of us. My Aries is partly it's my 5th house, 4th house, 5th house, end of my 4th house and beginning of my 5th. So Chiron in Aries is where we have been violated in some way and we fear asserting ourselves. And you can see the last couple of years, a lot of people have been afraid of asserting themselves in their lives. And it's where we may overcompensate by attempting to be the first at everything. We saw a lot of that going on as well, didn't we? Being the first at everything is not a great idea, because sometimes people can make mistakes when they want to be the first at everything. Physically, we can suffer wounds, head wounds and stuff. That I wouldn't take that to go too far with that, but it's just a description. You may become a pioneer in a way which will be of service to humanity. So being pioneering means that maybe we could be teaching people something new. We could be bringing something new to the world and to society, rather than just going over the same old stuff. Yeah. So that's it for today. I'm going to leave it there. And Happy New Year to you all. Catch you later.